Airdrops are a huge opportunity in crypto right now, and we should be taking full advantage of them. Now, the timing of these airdrops at this point in the cycle couldn't be more perfect for you and your portfolio. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining why this is the case, along with 3 reasons why you should not be fading these airdrops. Now, also, please do subscribe to the channel. The reason for this is because I have previously shared airdrop content, and I also will have plenty more airdrop videos coming on the way. So subscribe, make sure you don't miss them. But without wasting any more time, let's get started with reason number 1. So the first reason why you should be taking full advantage of airdrops is because many of them cost little or nothing to participate. Now, we see the term free money used quite a lot when speculating around airdrops, so let's just dive into this in a bit more detail. So some of them genuinely can be seen as free money. We see some projects basically reward users who participate in testnets, looking for bugs, and they get rewarded in tokens for this. Others just have to play the game, and in reward, obviously the teams and the projects there are getting their numbers up, improving their products, and the users, the early users, the testers, get to basically see tokens as a reward for their time. But that's the key here. It isn't exactly free because it does cost you time. Now, financially, you may not have to put anything into it, which is great for a lot of people. And if you do have the time, then it makes complete sense. And then we've got the other airdrops that actually cost little. So this could be getting involved in using an exchange, for example, doing some swaps, maybe a little bit of staking. These kinds of acts do cost you money, as much or as little as you want to put into it. But they do actually cost less time because you don't have to basically play games or use a testnet. You can just basically farm by using functionality. So there's 2 different ways of looking at it there, and different airdrops will obviously have different criterias. But the key here is that the risk reward is very rewarding because some of these airdrops could be huge for what you actually have to do for it. Now, before we continue with the video, I just want to let you guys know that, as I mentioned in the intro, I have shared plenty of content over the last couple of weeks around airdrops. So what I'll do is I'll share the links in the description to these previous YouTube videos, to all of the tweets and threads that I've shared on specific airdrops, so you can go back, check them out, and make sure that you've basically participated in the ones that appeal to you. And now back to the video. Reason number 2 for why you should not be fading airdrops. And this is because it is the perfect way for many people to build a portfolio. Now, a lot of people start in the crypto space with a small amount of capital with the aspiration of getting rich. Now, it can be easy for some, it can be difficult for others. Keeping it is definitely harder than making it, but airdrops at least get you off to a good start. And the reason for this is mostly due to timing right now. Now, many people expect a bull run to be starting throughout 2024, even into 2025, based on history with Bitcoin halvings and so on. Now, if this is the case, we are still quite early in the cycle, despite the bullish price action over the last couple of months. And this is the perfect time to build up a stack that you can then multiply going into the next maybe 12, 18, 24 months. Now, the thing is with these airdrops is that one airdrop can change everything. So using an example here, back in 2020, many people over the summer of 2020, known as DeFi summer, received the Uniswap airdrop. Uniswap airdrop. That makes more sense. So the Uniswap airdrop basically gave everybody who participated or connected, transacted with Uniswap 400 Uni tokens. Now, at the time of the launch of the token, this was probably around $1,200. And for a lot of people, that's a significant amount of money. If you can go on to 10x that, 50x that throughout the bull market, you're in a very good place. And if you would have held that 400 Uni to the peak, it would have been worth around 16,000 US dollars. So a significant amount of money just from one simple airdrop. And the timing of that was in, as I mentioned, summer of 2020, before the peak of November 2021. So it was perfectly timed for a lot of people to get building on top of that as a base of their portfolio. So it's definitely worth keeping that in mind, because all it takes is one airdrop can change everything. And if you're getting involved in as many as possible now, even if most of them flop, that one can be the difference. So the third and final reason for this video is that exposure to many different ecosystems can actually be a very good thing. Now, we've seen a lot of talk around specific ecosystems over the last month or so and the airdrops within them, whether it be Solana, Injective, Celestia. These are all kind of hot L1s going into this cycle, and holding Sol, Inj, Tia can be a good thing, but also consider the actual altcoins that you may get exposure to within these ecosystems going into the next 12 to 18 months. Now, a lot of these coins will do extremely well, maybe not necessarily just based on what they're building, but because of the ecosystems that they are basically building within. So it's definitely worth keeping that in mind when looking at different airdrops. Getting exposure to different areas can be a very, very beneficial thing to do. And the other side of this is that you could even potentially be accidentally airdrop farming. Now, some people will say this sounds too good to be true, but I've seen a lot of people basically perform certain tasks. So maybe staking using a non-exchange validator, for example. They're staking to basically claim a specific airdrop. But what actually happens is that ends up being a requirement for a completely different airdrop that they know nothing about, and then all of a sudden they check their wallet and they've got some of them tokens. So even just dabbling in different areas, you know, without any kind of specific requirements or criteria, could just end up being beneficial, because you're a genuine user of that ecosystem and you're not just farming. So it's definitely worth keeping that in mind, because exposure to all these different ecosystems could be very beneficial as they continue to run throughout the next year or two. So that is all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was useful. If it was, please do drop a like, subscribe, comment, and let me know how your airdrop farming is going at the moment. But I think generally speaking, the takeaway from this is that if you are not basically taking advantage of airdrops at the moment, you're just doing yourself a disservice, because this is the time to build that portfolio. And then in 12, 18, 24 months, what is maybe a $500 airdrop right now, a $1,000 airdrop right now, could be 10, 50, even 100x that over the next year or two. So do keep that in mind. It's definitely the way to build some capital if you don't have it spare and ready to deploy into the market. So on the back of that, please do keep airdrop farming, trade safe, invest safe. It isn't always too good to be true. It can be real, and I'll catch you in the next one.